And welcome to CFC Fan TV. What an evening last night was. I know Rory did a video today on Conte and I hope you all watched that, so if you haven't, go give it a thumbs up, and of course please subscribe if you like these videos. But unfortunately we haven't really got much positive news to talk about, have we? And one thing that's really bothering me at the moment, and I'm sure it is a lot of you fans, is all the commotion, all the criticism around Bakayoko. He's a huge talking point at the moment, more so than what I think it should be, if I'm being honest. By no means do I think his performance in getting sent off yesterday was acceptable. Do I think he had a credible performance? Absolutely not. But I've basically done a poll on Twitter, and we'll read the results at the end of the video, or towards the end of the video, on whether you think Bakayoko is being used as a scapegoat to, disguise the rest of the problems that we have at the club. Has he been good? No, and of course not. But I do think he's one of those players that, he started off well, and I think, he rushed back from injury. Wasn't it the Tottenham game? He said, I'll play through my injury. I'll do whatever I need to do because I know it's important to the fans. And I don't think we've had that, in a long time, and that really, really surprised me. And I was super pleased with that. And the song, Never Gives the Ball Away, together with N'Golo, wouldn't have come about if he hadn't had some good form somewhere along the line. How that has been lost, and I understand fans' frustration, and they're saying, why does Conte pick him every week? Why do they pick him every week? But who's the other option? Can everybody tell me who the other option is? Because it's one thing to blame the manager, one thing to blame Bakayoko, but we have no other option. Fabregas doesn't work in that position. I complain when Fabregas gets put in central midfield because it does not work. We can see we lose games when he's in that role. Then we've got Danny Drinkwater. He hasn't really had the best start either. A lot of fans criticise him when he comes on. It's a very tough position. I think anybody alongside Kante is naturally going to be criticised a little bit because Kante, more or less most of the time, doesn't really put a foot wrong. That's not saying yesterday's game did not go completely sideways, tits up and south. I just have no idea what happened, But it's clear something's not going right there. And I think, like I say, Bakayoko does get a lot of the blame, and I think I have said it before, but I wanted to do this video tonight because I feel like it can't wait. I feel like it was such a talking point yesterday. Everyone was going mental at him. But at the same time, we've let in 3 goals within the space of 10 minutes. That cannot be all down to him. Yes, he got sent off. Yeah, but we've won games with 10 men before. It doesn't help, but we have won games before. We've at least drawn games. And for us not to win that game, we've got the likes of Hazard, Willian, Kante, Azpilicueta, our captain Cahill, David Luiz on the pitch. That's inexcusable to me. It's completely mind-boggled me into the fact that I'm thinking, how is this happening? How are we putting the blame on Bakayoko when the players that let in 3 goals are all the ones on the pitch? Do you know what I mean? So, like I say, going 10 men down is one, but it's how you fight to keep yourself in that game. And I think we can all agree that realistically, when you let in 3 goals in that space of time, that something's gone drastically wrong there. I read somewhere along the lines, don't know if this is true, and this is something that does really bother me, that Conte, he feels like the players, some of them are ready, some of them aren't. And I think a lot of it is the fact that they're such huge players, we're such a huge club, that these players don't know whether they're big enough to play for us at all. And I think there's so much pressure on players when they come to Chelsea FC because they know that we're so quick to dispose of managers, players, if they're not performing very well. And you think, even when we're talking about Morata, we're saying, he's 70 million signing, he's not doing what he's done. That really can't be helping him. And I feel bad that I've actually criticised to an extent. I think some of it is more than justifiable, but I also think we need to get behind the players and we need to get behind the manager. It's really, really tough when you see games like that, and I didn't know what to say last night. I was just thinking, how the hell if we got to this stage again? Feels like when we were 10th in the league, we've gone back to playing really bad football. But to put all the blame on Bakayoko, I'm sorry, I would have to say that that's slightly wrong. I would have to say that I think our errors run far deeper than that. I think there's every player on the pitch yesterday that you could have criticised in some way, shape or form. Even before Bakayoko went off, we weren't playing very well. I watched the first 20 minutes, rubbish, I was just saying, what's going on here? So I did a poll, and I'm going to read that out now. Do us a favour, I'm going to give you a minute to guess what the results were. And I basically asked, do you think Bakayoko is being used as a scapegoat, and are fans placing too much of the blame on him himself? So the results are in. So I asked, like I said, do you think Bakayoko is being used as a scapegoat? 29% of you said yes, 46% of you said no, and 25% of you said yes to an extent. So, okay, the majority of you say no there, he's not being used as a scapegoat, but there is a high percentage of you, if not more so, between 50 and 60%, that think he is to an extent being used as it. And like I say, I'm not justifying how he's played. He hasn't been good enough, but at the same time, he's a new player, he's a young player coming into a team as big as Chelsea FC, and every single mistake he makes is getting picked up on. And it's sort of like, I feel like he's being used as the main person to blame all this on, when really, if you look collectively as a team, nobody is performing well at the moment. You look at every game, even when we get towards the goal, we don't look like scoring, we don't look like the old Chelsea. And it really is depressing. It's depressing me. It's nothing that us fans don't want to go and sit in the freezing cold after we just pay 50, 60 quid for a ticket to watch that. Like, none of us do. And I don't really know where it's gone wrong. But one thing I will say is that we have not made good enough signings. Antonio Conte cannot create another miracle like he did last season. Last season was, none of us expected it. We all expected top 4. We didn't expect to win the league. Never in a million years did I, anyway. So he overachieved there, and when you're asking him to go into the same, into the Premier League the next season, not making the adjustments that he feels he needs to win the league, you're going to get yourself into these sorts of situation. The more pressure that gets put on a team, the more criticism that gets put on a team, all the fans turn against the players, and not turn against the players, but start heavily criticising them. They're bound to read some of the stuff, and whether they listen to it or not, it's going to hurt their feelings, it's going to put them down. And I think the main thing to remember is that, especially with new players, there's a lot of things they've done to sort of, like Bakayoko, trying to push through his injury and play for us, and I think we forget about those things. So from now, what I want really, as much as I've tried to calm down from last night, like in my review, because you do say things in the heat of the moment, I want us all to get behind the players, all to get behind the manager, and to just start creating some positive energy at the moment, because at the moment it's just not like the old Chelsea. I'm not feeling confident when I go into the ground, and we want to be all together, one big happy family, really welcoming for the players. And yeah, I just hope that our next game, we do something of like to look like our old selves. That's all I can say. Comment below. What do you think of Bakayoko? It's a huge talking point at the moment. And if you don't want Bakayoko playing, who do you want to play? Because for the moment, for me, I'm not really convinced about our other options anyway. Like I say, we've not brought in the right transfers. Anyway, comment below, and if you like this video, please subscribe, and I will see you all later on this week.